morning and welcome to this program from Lilo. My name is Mine Dumont. We just want to talk about one or two issues to do with issues of transformation. How can we transform our country as Malawi? With me this morning is Professor Bishal Sitaula from the Norwegian University of Life Sciences. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You've been to Malawi for so many times. What brought you this time around to Malawi?
Well, we are following up our long-term activity program, project, international collaboration funded by Norway in Malawi. And we have been following that one, and also this one. This time was the research dissemination conference that took place in Lilongwe here. So I always feel to come to warm heart of Africa.
You are a champion of issues of transformation. Maybe what are the key issues that people need to think about when they want to transform?
From the policymaker's perspective, one has to know that incremental change in technology to tackle this climate crisis, environmental crisis, are not really fast enough to really address the severity of the problem, urgency of the problem. So we need a transformative thinking, and also how to develop resilient in response to rapidly changing climate. So time has come now to bring idea of transformation, inner insight, to shift our cognition and consciousness, and how to be resilient in academia, in extension work, and also in the governance.
And how do Malawi, maybe starting with its leaders and the people themselves, start this process? How do they process this?
First, one will start developing a deeper awareness about problem, start questioning own assumption, the colonial memory that has lived the academia and working culture here deeply, that somebody else's knowledge is the knowledge. They have the epistemic authority and we don't have it. So we have to really raise from that kind of mindset and look for we are the one who have lived and thrived for millennia in this civilization. Maybe our ancestors, they have learned how to cope with it, how to survive, how to really respond, how to do a positive adaptation, and also bounce back from adversity. So instead of only focusing on those bookish knowledge from here and there, one need to really dig out and generate that science from within, and also integrate some of the other best practices from around the world. But people, students, extension worker, policymaker in governance body, they need a deeper awareness. We should also learn that the connection part, how radical interdependence there is between farmer, the nature, the all other, which a law of ecology say that everything is connected with everything else. And therefore that connection has to also brought in little more. Where are our subtle connections? Where are those broken connections, right? And how to repair that ourselves. And then you have to look for some insights from the science. Western science there are very many good practices around the world. Also there are science here, homegrown indigenous knowledge. Also from the wisdom traditions. Also from the art, many ways of expressions is found here. We have to create the insight, yes, this is what is context responsive idea for us. Otherwise, we have been just following context deficit idea, and every time is the same outcome. When the project program are ending, then it just, if you look at, what is the reality of farmers. And once the insights are created, then you have to make purpose based on Malawian kind of thinking, okay, feeling, and then you have to create those purpose to do the thing in a context responsible way. And finally, you have to develop your agency also, your will to act and to create a structure around it. That kind of idea will be more sustainable, more grounded, more homegrown. And that is what is transformation.
All right, let's talk about relating. There are three issues about black identity: issues of compassion, issues of empathy, connection. How can we use this in transformation?
Very good question, because the word compassion, the idea of the compassion intervention never came into academia. But lately, after the development of positive psychology, and also there was there in the wisdom tradition, okay, already, but we have just, neglected that one or overlooked that part. But look, if you would not have received a original compassion from your mother, you would not have survived, right? Compassion is our innate nature. And because of the adversity, disorienting dilemmas, many things, Malawian farmers are getting because of drought, flood, and so on. If people there are not very compassionate to each other, and if the extension agency, other people also, beyond the call of their duty, do not develop that faculty, and if they do not know the science that compassion giver gets more biopsychological benefit, health benefit than compassion receiver. So that kind of thing we have to bring in academia based on the verified research around the world. And that way, that education become really meaningful.
Okay. Let's talk about mindset change. Here, I'm talking of thinking, the critical inquiry into issues, the perspective of awareness. How do this meet in terms of maybe developing that mindset change among people?
No, my friend, first of all, you have to be the change that you want to aspire and you want to preach, right? So the transformation start from us. The other thing is that when we have understood that yes, it is possible for me, it could be also possible for others. If you believe that this whole environmental crisis, dilemma, all this development crisis is a human construct, we have also ability to deconstruct that. Okay? Human being has those kind of, power. So they have to use that, unleashing that human potential, right? And then, for example, my case, I can tell about it. I was basically a natural scientist working around soil fertility improvement, climate change from more technical perspective. But when I knew that when there is no mindset change, this problem will only bring new figure, new kind of thing, but it will never, it's not happening. So I thought, no, I have to work on it. So I started finding literature and compassion, all this kind of other kind of intervention, mindset, the growth mindset, what is it about, and in which way we can bring into the academia, the Australian experience, Canadian experience, US experience, and I use 1 year of my sabbatical on that in the United States. And then I start, creating courses, a type of course with some kind of objective adjustment for South Asia, objective adjustment for Balkan and Europe, and also adjustment for here, because nowhere here have a different civilizational memory, right? And very delicate way when you design that course. And then when you start giving, last time when we started this kind of course in Luanar, 2022, well, there were only 20 students who were interested. Next year, they went around 70 or so. Next year, more than 100 plus. And now in 2005, 500 plus students applied, and then we could only handle physically 100 plus in the hall, and the rest they were taking digitally. And they were so happy. So it's possible, but Professor also has to come out of their comfort zone and start looking for those things. You have to create your agency, intellectual agency around it, and then it will work.
Okay. Prof, let's talk about issues of collaborating. How do you think trust, inclusive dialogue, and co-creation can support this transformative agenda?
Well, trust and feeling and relationship is very important in collaboration. First, you start also not in the conventional science, perspective taking. You have to learn perspective seeking.
Okay.
You have to dance, you have to sing with the farmers. You have to first establish that trust and feeling and relationship before a meaningful collaboration happens. Like that, from the elderly vice chancellor like Professor Firi, other people I was asking, why in Malawi and many countries, including my native country, Nepal, so many project and program came, but still there's a very slow progress. And he thinks, oh, Bishal, we are teaching everything here in English language, and farmers speak another language, so that itself is a barrier. And so, therefore, for better collaboration, for better trust, we have to think all those things around it.
Okay. Finally, let's talk about action. All these things have to drive into an action that people have to work on. What is it that Malawi needs?
So that action requires, as I say, a lot of courage, a willingness to go out of your comfort zone and enter into the courage zone, and also truth, speak to the power. Our students have some research around it. The extension agency just have to follow the order from somewhere. And farmer has to just listen to extension agency and so on. Farmer do not have agency. And some NGO are coming and doing some good work and doing some skill. And then also a problem with the extension worker. Oh, through farmer free school they are learning something that we have never listened to it, okay? So, all farmer extension worker has to be empowered so that they can do, visualize, anticipate some kind of context responsive work. Other thing is that in academia, you, me and everybody have their own pathway. There is no spare part in the universe, right? So for example, if you are in academia, you have to develop intellectual agency. That's very important, right, in academia. But today, if you don't develop your social agency, okay, social engagement, then you will be incomplete professor, okay? Then also you need to develop your emotional or psychological agency. Whenever I visit a different country around the world, every country has some dilemma, some very urgent, very acute and so on. There also how to operate that one with the balance of mind, with a maturity, you know. And then you also need a lot of ethical agency, which is lacking today in many, many different kind of arena. In the bureaucracy, you know, in politics also. They need to, really we need to find some way to develop their ethical agency and our ethical agency also. After all, everywhere there are individual. Okay, so individual transformation, inner transformation is very important. That's why the Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change that you want to see in the world.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
That's a nice one. Be the change that you want to be.
Sure.
All right, that's Professor Bishal Sitaula from the Norwegian University of Life Sciences. Thank you so much for your time. And this has been my Tumodzi. Let me hand it back to our friends in Kwazulu to continue. Good morning, Malawi.
Professor Sitaula, all the way from the Norwegian University here in the country, talking about issues of climate change. I hope as a country we will learn one or two things from the workshops that he is conducting in the country.
When we talk about climate change, it has contributed a lot to some of the problems that we were facing at the moment.